Listen to me very closely.
Why, you gonna walk me through your organic method of vaginal hygiene?
My what?
You're a bigger pussy than Shane. Come here, boy. Do something!
Like what?
Steven Spielberg was once quoted as saying, "The older I get, the more I look at movies as a moving miracle." I couldn't agree more. And I could sit here for hours describing so many of his films just like that. But I'm not gonna do that, because today I want to tell y'all how good this Wild Thornberry's movie is.
Wild.
During the 90s, television animation was undergoing a bit of a transformation from the toy-driven fare of the 80s. Studios like Cartoon Network began to make their debut, and with them came some of the most memorable and influential shows that had ever been seen on network television. Out was the era of He-Man and Thundercats, for now, and in was the Powerpuff Girls. But before even them, premiering in 1991 was the Nicktoons. Doug, Ren and Stimpy, and the cash-printing, era-defining powerhouse, the Rugrats.
A baby's gotta do what a baby's gotta do.
Pre-SpongeBob Bubble Pop, the babies were Nick's first taste of cartoon mania. So when Klasky Supo, the studio behind Rugrats, and Nick took the babies to the movies in 1998, and they brought back $160 million on a budget of around 24, it was obvious that more Nicktoons would eventually be making their way to the big screen. And after a few more years and another Rugrats sequel, my personal favorite, it was time for a second family to have a shot at a bigger adventure. The Wild Thornberry's TV show centers around Eliza, the daughter of nature documentarians Nigel and Marianne Thornberry, along with her angsty sister Debbie, her adopted wild-ass brother Donnie, and her best friend Darwin, who just happens to be a chimpanzee.
Darwin, come back!
The family travels around the world learning about wildlife and filming animals. When one day, Eliza frees a captured shaman disguised as a warthog, and she transforms into Dr. Dolittle. But she can't tell anyone, or she'll lose her ability to hear Darwin here complain all the time. What a shame. Now, my memory of the actual show is honestly pretty sparse. It's kinda how I remember Rocket Power, in a VHS-tinged, extremely goofy movie, Windows Movie Maker fever dream of early 2000s childhood. But what I do remember is this film sitting in my closet and me playing it 1,000 times. Now that I've gone back, I can safely say that my taste as a kid must have been decent, because this movie is a masterpiece. We start the film out exactly the same way the show does, with Eliza giving us an intro to her family, but now the budget is clearly movie grade. Look at that camera movement. They got some money now. Eliza's doing her normal thing, hanging out on the back of an elephant. Her name is Phaedra, and she gives us some knowledge about how her mother used to use her trunk to guide her around.
Really? Like this? That's it?
That will be important later. From there, we check back in on Nigel Thornberry as he entertains his mother who's visiting from England. She's clearly out of her element. Unlike the rest of the family, she'd probably feel more at home in Downton Abbey than chilling out with wildebeest and gazelles. And speaking of which,
Gazelle is actually quite harmless.
So, since his mother managed to narrowly escape being trampled to death, Nigel and Marianne decide it's a good time to jet off for some more nature footage, while Eliza slips away to play with a cheetah named Kayla and her 3 cubs. We kind of start to see the narrative role of Eliza's grandma here as she talks to Debbie. She doesn't really get her. She thinks the way she's growing up is, for lack of a better word, uncivilized.
Does your sister always
Talk like a monkey, dress like a geek.
Yeah.
The next scene where Eliza arrives to greet the Cubs is so beautiful, just like the rest of the movie. The vibrant gradients in the sky and the soundtrack really do a lot to bring life to the film. It also does a good job of portraying Africa in a vibrant and appealing color palette that isn't seen too much in Western media, excluding something like The Lion King.
Hey, Slowpokes, I'm winning!
You can feel Eliza's joy for nature as she runs with the lions. It's infectious. The fun doesn't last too long though, as a set of poachers descend from the sky to scoop up the cub named Tally, so everyone's racing down the plains. Akela and Eliza on foot, Nigel and Marianne in the buggy, and even Debbie whips the combi to help, while Donnie does the wedgie dance on the dashboard. In the end though, the poachers get away by cutting the rope that Eliza's dangling on. It's pretty crazy. They're just gonna kill her, which I kinda respect. I mean, this is back when a PG rating really meant something. Eliza's fine though. But unfortunately, due to the poachers shining their high beams right in her face, the only clue she's got to give to Nigel's officer friend Jomo is that he used a knife with a falcon-shaped hilt. Even as a kid, I remember thinking, what is this guy gonna do, Eliza? Those poachers are gonna pack him up.
These are your golden years, Pop. You should be enjoying life with your family.
The incident seems to shock her parents into the reality of the dangers of growing up in the wild. So when Grandma here suggests that Eliza be sent to boarding school in London for some structure, the dominoes just fall into place. And just fuck Debbie, I guess.
Wow! What about me? Do I look civilized?
Frankly, no. But I'm afraid it's much too late for you.
Before Eliza gets shipped out though, she's able to have a heart-to-heart with her dad as he's researching the legend of an eclipse that coincides with an elephant migration to a place called Timbo Valley. She's really taken all the stuff with Tally from earlier to heart, not only because she was the person watching over him at the time, but she can also talk to animals. And she's starting to wonder, yeah, but why? If that can't even help me protect them, what's the point? And even though she can't tell Nigel that exactly, he understands enough to reassure Eliza that even though they're sending her away, he's proud of who she is, and he's in awe of the things that he knows that she can accomplish. With that and a few more goodbyes, Eliza's off to London. And the song that plays here, Fathers and Daughters by Paul Simon, like from Simon and Garfunkel, is perfect. I'd play more for you, but you know how it is. Hit that search bar up once you're done. You'll be alright. The boarding school Eliza attends is the same boarding school you've seen in every movie. There's a crappy headmaster, a group of giggling teens, and Eliza's roommate Sarah Wellington is a stuck-up rich girl. I mean stuck-up literally too. Look at her nose, it's permanently upturned. Now that's peak character design. So safe to say Eliza is not having a good time here. But don't worry, it can get worse. Here's Darwin.
I told you they don't allow chimps in school.
Oh, they'll change their mind when they meet me.
He hid himself away in Eliza's luggage after she said she was leaving. Obviously, she can't let anyone see him, so she gives Darwin one simple instruction: stay hidden. Later, we see Eliza at dinner where she finally starts to make some friends by sharing some stories of when she lived with her parents. Too bad Darwin just can't stand that no one is talking about him for like 5 minutes, so he struts into the dining hall with the girls after he gets done stealing and stretching out all the clothes in Sarah's closet. He then proceeds to take a seat and start stuffing his jaws. That goes about as well as you think it will, and after a very well animated food fight, later that night Darwin finds himself knee deep in horseshit. Sensational.
Where's the bathroom?
You're standing on it.
Eliza then tries to have a nice night with the girls as she tells them about Tally and how she can't get any of this off of her mind. Sarah returns before long though and kicks the other girls out before they both head to bed. But even in dreams, there's no peace for Eliza. The dream sequence here is another standout moment. The animation and color design is amazing. Shaman Miyamo pleads with Eliza to use the gift that she has to save Tally as he morphs between different forms. I like to interpret this part less as him actually speaking through Eliza's dreams, but more as her guilt and self-doubt manifesting itself as him. So after she wakes up in a cold sweat, Eliza decides she can't wait any longer. She has to go after Tally.
Cosmo, Grant, and Timmy, all his wishes gimme. Donnie, Darwin, Debbie, Mama, Liza talking to a llama. Jimmy Neutron got a blast, flying high, flying fast. Action League is in the air. The Flesh ain't got no underwear. Not just cartoons.
We're Nicktoons.
Not just cartoons.
We're Nicktoons.
Not just cartoons.
She takes Darwin out the stables, and with a little help from Sarah, they're on a plane back to Africa before you know it.
Stop fidgeting.
I can't help it. I've got hay in my skirt.
You can't just drop hot ball sweat hay on the floor, man. This chimp is out of control. Back with the rest of the family, Nigel and Marianne are heading out again to check on the elephants now that the eclipse is starting up, leaving Debbie in charge of Donnie. I just want to point out here that Debbie is completely in the right for this entire movie. All her parents seem to be doing is leaving her alone to raise this feral child, and they never seem to stop and think, damn, maybe she doesn't want to do that every single day. Now Eliza's back in Africa. She finds her next clue about the poachers in the form of a rhino calling out for help. He says he was attacked by the riverbank, and the rope he's tangled up in just happens to be holding the same knife that Eliza saw earlier. Now as she tries to help the rhino, the authorities and two wildlife vets named Salone and Bree arrive on the scene. They offer Eliza a ride, but she declines and heads back to her parents' camp. In that same night, Debbie is once again tending to her younger brother when she's scared shitless by the arrival of her grandparents.
Grandmomsy?
It's all in the knees, Cody.
Colonel?
They're here to try and grab Eliza before anyone can know that she escaped from boarding school, you know, so grandma can save some embarrassment. Too bad for them though, they're passed out by the time she arrives the next morning. Debbie really starts laying into Eliza here. She talks about how ungrateful she is that she was finally able to integrate back into society while she's stuck cosplaying as a single mother. Emotions boil over, and the fight ends with Eliza charging back into the forest, headed straight for Timbo Valley to try and hunt down the poachers, and Debbie in hot pursuits.
If I weren't so mad, this would totally rock.
Okay, the pursuits might be like lukewarm, but it's happening. Debbie actually left a note before she headed out too, so the parents are able to figure out what's going on, and they decide to regroup and try and catch the kids before anything can go too wrong. Eliza finds her next lead from a gorilla who's had a pretty interesting run-in with Donnie.
I only saw the whirlybirds land on the ground, and then I saw people putting a fence across the valley.
A fence? What for?
And while Eliza's moving up, Debbie's literally stuck in the mud. She gets help from a young boy named Boko who leads her back to his village and helps her get back on her feet. They decide to travel together so Debbie doesn't end up on the bad end of a snake. I don't know what that means, but I wrote it. Eliza ends up running back into Salone and Bree. She tells him that she believes the poachers could be targeting the elephants due to the fact that they only leave the forest for the eclipse migration. He's about to take off again, but they're able to calm her down and send her to bed for some rest. That sure is nice of them, but yeah, they're the fucking poachers. I don't care if you figured this out the first time you saw them. When I was a kid, it damn near blew my tiny mind. See, Eliza ends up finding Tally in the couple's RV 2 seconds before they return the next morning. Look at this little Earth graphic they got. I'm fully convinced that after they're done stealing ivory, these evil fuckers are gonna try for world domination, Dr. Evil style.
And the best part of this plan is, no one can stop me.
Salone is such a threatening villain. He instantly starts to get Eliza's number. He's like, there is no way that you figured out every single thing that I'm doing. Somebody's leaking information. Once they tie up Eliza and leave, Tally explains that they're planning to use explosives on the elephants at Timbo Valley too. Also, we're definitely approaching the third act here because as all this is happening and everyone's fearing for their life, Darwin decides that right now is the time that he needs to tell Eliza that she has not been doing enough with the gifts that she's been given. And she tells him what she thinks about that.
Darwin, for once in your life, just be quiet!
This scene is a little bit sad. Like, who likes to see best friends fight? But Darwin really had it coming. He's just not been the biggest help this entire film. And then for him to start questioning Eliza while they're tied down in some random guy's RV, he's completely oblivious about everything that's been going on. The arguing is cut off as Debbie and Boko arrive at the campsite, only to run into an already pissed off Salone and Bree. Eliza's eventually able to break free, and Salone gives Boko the people's elbow before hanging Debbie off the side of a cliff, threatening to do her like Mufasa. And as he interrogates Eliza for information, we get what I think are the best line reads in the entire movie. They've stuck with me since I was a kid.
Who told you these things?
I can't tell you! talk to animals.
The voice acting here is so powerful. Special shout out to Rupert Everett as Salome. Now we watch as a storm of magic picks up, destroying everything in its path. Everyone rushes to get away, and when all is said and done, Boko is missing, and the poachers are headed straight to Timbo Valley. Plus, to top it all off, Eliza's lost her ability to talk to animals.
Oh my gosh, you did that? For me?
I can't talk to Darwin anymore. And the last thing I said to him was really mean.
The rest of the family ends up floating downriver and almost over a waterfall before taking shelter in a cave overlooking the elephant migration. They've arrived at Timbo Valley. Understandably, Eliza is now at her absolute lowest. She knows that the elephants are in danger, but without her ability to speak to animals, she's lost the last bits of confidence that she was clinging to. But Debbie's here to reassure her of the same thing that her father did.
Ever since you were a little kid, you dragged home birds with broken wings and creepy toads and stuff. You didn't have special powers then. You just cared.
Eliza is gifted not because of her powers, but because she always had the courage to do what's right, and that she leads with kindness. Eliza's got her second wind, and the parents arrive at the valley putting together the poachers' plans to use explosives to drive the elephants into an electric fence. This is real supervillain shit at this point. Debbie reunites with Boko, and Eliza charges headfirst into the herd of elephants, trying to find some way to communicate with them. She then remembers what her elephant friend Phaedra told her at the beginning of the movie.
What did Phaedra tell me? I know! Behind the ear!
So Eliza's able to successfully stop the elephants, only to get yoked up by Salome one more time. That's gotta suck. Luckily, now the elephants are on Eliza's side, and they're here to put an end to Salome and Bree. For a second here, I thought they were gonna do them like Aunt Gladys at the end of Weapons, but nah, they'll be okay.
Those guys are going to jail.
Shaman Mnyamba returns to tell Eliza that she did a wonderful job, and to give her powers back.
Now I know you think I talk too much, so from now on I'm just going to sit back and quietly observe it.
Yeah, like that'll ever happen.
Eliza? Did you just talk to me?
From there, she reconnects with her father, and in awe, they both wonder together about what makes the elephants feel so safe during the eclipse. It's very nice. Debbie then says farewell to Boko, and the movie ends with the mandated 2000s dance scene. Also, Eliza tells Debbie that if she snitches on her, the shaman will turn her ass into a monkey like Kim in that one episode of Kim Possible. Debbie just can't win.
This congregation belies the true nature of...
My life with a big purple butt!
This isn't a good movie. This is a great movie, and I'm tired of nobody talking about it. Everything here is so well crafted. The music selection, the color work, and the family dynamic. It's all unmatched. Even Eliza's grandma, who starts off the movie on a bad foot, falls right in line with everyone else when she realizes that the kids are in danger, because she loves them. There's no big scene in here where they all fight and Eliza has to make her understand who she is. She just sees it like we do, and she's dancing with everyone else at the end of the movie. Eliza is so relatable for the whole story. It's not that no one believes in her, like your average underdog film. She can't fully believe in herself. It shows you that sometimes people can see greatness in you before you know you can even do anything good. The Wild Thornberrys movie tackles family, self-acceptance, and the joy of loving the world around you, protecting it, and it does all that in under 2 hours. If that's not a masterpiece, I don't know what is, man.